Hello, race fans. Welcome to another episode of Short Track Guys Podcast, brought to you by ShortTrackExclusives.com. I am your host, Thomas Faddis, alongside two other short track guys, and you know them well by now. Jim Pokrant, driver of the 07 Can'tQuitFishing.com sportsman here locally at Five Flag Speedway, and Ted Baber, Ted Baber Video Productions, also locally here at Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola, Florida. What's up, guys?
Greetings. What's happening?
Yeah, well, we've got quite a bit to catch up with, and we're going to first step up with the preview, the Snowball Derby preview coming up Saturday, November 20th, I believe it is.
Yes.
And the Sportsman coming up, preview, got some cash rewards, $200 for all the, I guess you would say, underclass divisions, not the pros and the supers, but what do you got planned to go in here and maybe take that $200 to start out the Derby?
Well, you're going to spend that in buying tires, because if you don't buy tires, you're not going to do it. But we're going to try. We're going to take the lefts from the last race, clean them up, put two brand new right sides on it, and we're going to go for that $200. I've never done it. I mean, win a 20-40 in the last race. I think we could probably get a 30 with new right sides with the new motor, so why not try? Go out there early, break the motor in, get everything ready, tape it up like we would a regular qualifying run, and just let the rough side drag and see what happens.
Yeah. Now, is it going to be a brand new engine, or are you just freshening the one you had, and then you're going to put 4 tires on it and go from there?
Well, pretty much. It's a fresh motor. He found a couple issues when he took it apart, which really ought to embarrass people that did what they did, but it's okay. I'm not mad at him no more, but it's kind of a good thing. We found an issue with a bent valve, so I've been running that good with a bent valve, so how much faster is this thing going to be when it's fresh and ready to rock? Kevin Mitchell's motor, who, they had some problems with theirs too, had broke rings, so it's going to be interesting. We were second and third in the last race. I think the 00 is going to have issues, but the game plan is to go out on the preview day, or we may rent the track with Brock Gins and with Ben Cranford. It may happen. We don't know yet. But either which way, I got to break the motor in, which is going to be a couple slow runs, just steadily picking up speed, RPMs up and down. Then we got to come in, change the oil, and put the oil we're going to race in it, and then go out and try to break that. I really would love nothing more than to bust a 20 flat or a 2019 and break the track record. And it's possible. The way that thing, 2/10 isn't much. You get that thing through the center just a little bit better, just a little bit more grip with a little more down the straightaway, and bammo. So that's our game plan. And then we're going to go out and try to win the 53rd annual Snowball Derby.
Yeah, the sportsman division. And then the super late model is fast laps, $500. Pro late model is $300, and then $200 for the Outlaws, Sportsman, Pro Trucks, Modifieds, and Pure Stocks. So there's a lot going on there. It's almost like a race within a race.
It is.
Before it.
The only thing that stinks is they should at least pay for 2 tires. You're going to have at least 2 if you're going to do this. Mm-hmm. There's some guys that are going to spend 4 to win that $200. I'm not. But,
right.
We're going to give it our best. And if we get it, great. If we don't, we gave it our best. And we're going to come back and be ready for the Snowball Derby.
Yeah, and I was just looking over the list of some of the early entries, not only for the Snowflake and the Snowball Derby, but we've got like Sammy Smith, Casey Johnson, is an Arkham Midwest guy we've talked about quite a bit. Daniel Dye, Mike Garvey.
It'd be cool to see Mike Garvey win a Snowball Derby. He's a great race car driver. And while we're there, I had a picture made, me and a friend of mine named Martin in '97 with Mike Garvey. And I asked him earlier this year if it'd be cool at the Derby with him in a fire suit, if we could redo the picture with us being older. And he said, I'd love it. So we're going to do that at the Derby. I think that'll be cool. That's something we'll post on our website when I'll get the before and after picture so y'all can get a chuckle out of how much younger I looked back then.
Grant Thompson, Justin Bonnet, Cole Butcher, Derek Thorne, and Jeremy Dawsall from California, Preston Pelcher, Jesse Love also from California, Stephen Assey, and our big pal, Bubba Pollard.
Our Bubba Pollard, our favorite driver. It's going to be an interesting race, either which one, because I think this year is going to bring. Last year with COVID, there was a few people that didn't make it, but I'm going to tell you something. When you put Derek Thorne, Bubba Pollard, Stephen Nassy, Ty Majeski, he's coming. Rich Bickle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Jeremy Doss, he's had some good runs. Now, he's been creeping up on it. And we can't forget Jake Garcia.
No.
He's another one that's been creeping up on it. You know what I mean? And Chris Davidson could easily win the Snowflake.
Right.
So, we've got a stellar field of cars that's going to be here. And I'm going to tell you, if you've never been to a Snowball Derby, get your butt out there. even if you come Sunday and park a truck in the infield, because they take all the haulers out so we can see, and it's great racing.
Everybody comes with a pedigree that comes there. They've done something. Nobody's a slouch.
Right.
No.
Oh, it's the best of the best of the best if you can go that far. But just looking at the early entries for both races, and a lot of these guys will do double duty.
Oh yeah,
they'll run the Snowflake and the Snowball Derby. And Ted, what are your video plans for that week?
Well, I have some restrictions, shall we say. So I get down in the corners and I try to pick the right corner. You never know which one that's going to be because things happen at both ends. I just happened to be at the proper end for the Justin Bonnet fire. I was standing there with you when that happened. That was scary. Very scary.
Well, the only night Ted won't be doing any filming is the night of my race because he is on my crew.
Yep.
And I got to have him there. But, I mean, he'll still be doing some. But he does a great job. He catches a lot of cool stuff. He really does because there's been years when I've been racing and he's caught me doing some foolish stuff and put a camera right on me and got a great shot of me acting like a fool.
I think the best shot I had was I was in 1 and 2, and there was a big wreck in the pure stock race. I think it was still pure stock at that point. And a wheel came off, and I was standing in the corner, and the wheel started rolling right towards me. I was like, okay, keep an eye. If it starts bouncing, move. It never started bouncing, just came and hit the guardrail and fell over right in front of me. I followed it all the way down.
Wow. Now, you're going to have a GoPro in Jim's car?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
what's funny is you talk about a tire. I saw this one time, dude. I was in old enduro races back before the wall was around the track, and they'd show up with enduro, be 180 cars on that half mile.
Yeah.
It was something to see.
Crazy.
And this tire come off the car and it's rolling through the infield, and this dude's standing there, and he runs over and he tries to kick it over. I said, don't. And he did. And I watched his leg snap at the knee.
Oh.
He spun around and down he went. I'm like, yikes, dude, don't ever. Tire comes at you, get the hell away from it. It'll kill you.
I've seen people try to catch him before, too, and everybody's like, no.
Get away from it. Yep, exactly. But getting back to the real subject, the big show, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. The Derby's always a blast. I know we harp a little on Five Flags, but, we still want to go to other races. We as three would love to travel to Oxford or go to the Madhouse or other places. And
Bristol.
yeah, I mean, we can talk about all those big races, and it just like throughout the year, us being short track guys, that's all we really are concentrating on are some of these big races. And we do go outside of our boundaries and go to Alaska and Canada and all this. And we do dirt tracks and, the sprints and dirt late models and stuff. But speaking of big races, there's one with all these big names, or a lot of the big names from the ARCA Midwest Tour. They're going to come down here and try their luck to get into the Derby, first of all, not just the Snowball Derby, but you've got to get in it first.
That is a pressure cooker. I've been down there in the pits, and I've seen the reactions of people that have just, some of them don't even get to stop. They have to go straight through because they didn't make it on the first time. But you see people they're shaking in their shoes, wondering if they're
qualifying Friday night is it's an exciting thing to watch itself. Just to sit there and watch those guys go. I mean, I'm on the bubble.
Well, it's probably what I've heard, and it's been known for a long time. It's the most stressful night in short track racing as far as the late models go, because you have 75 late models trying to make 30 spots that lock in. So yeah, it's pretty stressful, no doubt.
Yeah, it is. And then of course if you're not in, you got to run the last chance race. And do you risk sacrificing a car to start the tail end of the field? Because I'm going to tell you something. I've seen many a car leave that place and just wad it up because somebody's like, I need that spot. Boop. Yeah. Sorry about your luck.
Yeah.
Well, this past weekend at La Crosse Speedway in West Salem, Wisconsin, was the ARCA Midwest Tour season finale. I'll give you 5 names, and you tell me who you would pick in that order just to win. Would say Travis Sauter, Rich Bickle, Dalton Zier, Ty Majeski, or Casey Johnson.
Any one of the 5. You can't really pick out of those 5 because they're some of the best. I mean, especially at those tracks up there.
Exactly. Well, Casey Johnson ended up taking the lead on 118. And held off Ty Majeski, Travis Sauter, Rich Bickle finished 4th, and Dalton Zier, which I'm sure you're going to see about 6 of those guys from the ARCA. John DeAngelis is going to come down here.
Oh, yeah.
Luke Fenhouse is committed. I'm going to say that the 119 of Dalton Zier is going to be here.
He's been here before, but he's not been a show every year. Just, I think, sponsorship money. But I'm going to tell you what, man. Rich Bickle didn't even qualify. I watched qualifying for that race, and he didn't even make the top 16. Had to come out of his heat race. So that means he started 17th or further back and drove that thing all the way up to 4th. Yeah, I'd say he was coming.
Right.
Well, when I made the call when Casey Smith came from Texas with that modified race, and I probably got lucky, but he ended up winning. I'm going to say Rich Bickle is going to come down here to win the Snowball Derby.
Oh, he'll be coming loaded for bear. You guarantee he will be. And I like I said, we've said it in shows past. I would love nothing more than to watch that old man win his final race in a late model. Drop the mic and walk away.
Yeah. And Luke Fenhouse, Gabe Summers, Carson Kvapel, Johnny Sauter, Dan Fredrickson, and Justin Mondike. I mean, those are guys that we've talked about from the very beginning. And a lot of those guys you're going to see come down here. And, Derek Thorns, the Jeremy Dawes, the Jesse Loves from California. You got Texas with Chris Davidson and all those guys from all over the country, from the Midwest up the Maine and the Boston area. They're all going to come down here
Canada.
30 spots to lock in. And it's just, like Jim said, if you haven't been here, take your vacation and come down on Monday, camp up at the fairgrounds, which is going to have to be the fairgrounds now because all those camping spots are taken up. But
Pretty much, yeah.
you will not regret it. I guarantee you.
No.
You will go home and saying, you know what?
That was amazing.
That was a great weekend.
Short track guys have really put us on to something.
Well, it's amazing how many people come from, because when I used to stay in the campground, how many different people from different places, but they get the same spots every year.
Right.
And they're always here. They come down and have a great time.
Yeah.
I mean, some people do get a little too inebriated and have not a really good time, but I come to watch the races. Why would you want to get blasted out of your mind? But, hey, that's what people do.
And that's carefully monitored by the ESCD out here, so we don't have to.
Yeah, but it's still it's the greatest short track race in America by far. Sorry, I mean, I'm prejudiced because I've been going to it since I was 9 years old, but to me, it's the best of the best. Yeah. You're never going to go anywhere and find people, like you said, from Canada, from New Hampshire, from Maine, from California. I mean, Derek Thorne tows from 2 cars from California to run both races, and he's been on the pole 2 years in a row in both shows. Right. One of these years, he's going to win it, and he's going to win it big.
Well, big congratulations to Casey Johnson. I wish you all the best and hope to see you in the pits down here. Make the show, get yourself locked in the top 30. And also congratulations to Ty Majeski winning his 5th ARCA Midwest Tour Championship.
Yep.
That's pretty bad. Bling.
Yep, he is. He's one of the best, man. Last year's Snowball Derby winner should have won it the year before if it hadn't been for the race director making a bad call there right at the end of the race. But, dude, you cannot beat like I said, Ty Majeski's just one of the best. And he's not one of the guys that has a ton of money. That's why he hasn't moved up as quickly. Mm-hmm. But on talent-wise, he deserves. I'm just like Bubba Pollard. He's got the talent to do it, but he just doesn't have the checkbook.
He's a great guy, too.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
Absolutely.
We've seen interviews with him after the race, and, a disappointing second. It's the first loser is what they say from the man that we all knew. But he's just a humble guy, and he just does what he does. He wins, but then when he finishes unexpectedly second, third, or fifth, or whatever it is, he's happy
to be there.
Right.
Yeah. He's like me. I'm happy to be on the racetrack. I'm happy to be driving a race car.
Yeah.
And he's doing it on the national level. He's traveling all over the country with that 91 car. And like I said, he's a Snowball Derby champion. You can't take that away from him. And that's awesome.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good group of that iRacing group going, carrying him around too.
Yeah.
And that is a beautiful car, too.
Yeah, it is. It is a gorgeous ride.
Yeah.
And he's clean, too. That's one thing you can say about old Ty. He'll race you hard, but he'll race you fair.
Right.
Yep.
So,
well, we're going to slide a little bit to another racetrack, and it's not quite the super late models, but it's got some names in there that we've mentioned before, and we're going to go to Nashville. It was a pro late model event at Nashville's Fairgrounds Speedway, a 100-lap event, and a female just made history Saturday night, being the first female to win a premier event at Nashville, Brittany Zamora. Congratulations, Brittany.
Definitely congratulations.
Well-deserved win.
Yeah, with Michael House and William Hale, Hunter Wright, and Jackson Boone all in the top 5 there. And it was I think there were 28 pro late models at that track. And I'm telling you what, she got up there next to those guys and just like, I'm going to the checkered flag. You guys can follow me this time.
Well, I mean, she drove for Willie Allen, and that's a dadgum good race car. And Willie Allen hasn't really won that much in that car, and for her to climb in it, she's probably the best up and coming female we have. I'm sorry, Haley Deegan. Yeah, she's won a couple races. I don't think Haley Deegan's all that great, but I believe Brittany Samore and my friends, the Genses, know her from the upper Northwest, and they said that she's one of the best they've ever seen female-wise, strap in a race car.
Right.
You know, we had one here by the name of Johanna Long, but she never could get the money right to run with a decent team. I believe she could easily have won a Xfinity or a truck race. It's all about that money now, and Brittany's got the money, so God bless her. I hope she does even better. I hope she keeps winning.
Yeah, congratulations, Brittany, and maybe I'll see you down here in the Snowflake or the Snowball one day, soon, maybe this year, or if you get their schedule right. I know there's a lot of drivers out there that are running these races from all over the country. It just can't find the funding to get down here. But eventually when they do, it's a big deal.
It is. If you make the show, the first time you're here, if you just make the race,
right,
it's great. And then from then on, you can build on that. But that old girl out there is just tore up, straight up, needs paving, but I don't want it paved. And it makes for interesting racing. And you need to come practice. You can't, I've never seen anybody just show up and do good.
Right.
They've all had to do good in practice and burn up a couple sets of tires.
Well, there's one that I can bring up, and that's Joey Logano.
Oh, well, come on, man. Sliced bread? Are you kidding me?
This is way before he even became Joey Logano with Stanley Smith flying from Birmingham. They dropped him off in the helicopter. He came in, ran that 49 Valvoline super late model in the Blizzard Series race, finished second, got back in the helicopter, and they flew him out. And we never saw him again.
Nope. He finished second with a car towed out 1/4 of an inch.
Right.
Because he got into it with, it was Hamner that won the race. It was Josh Hamner.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I remember because I was there that night, and he was still known as Sliced Bread because he's won in everything he's ever driven.
Oh, wow.
Every division, go-karts, quarter midgets. When he got to, he won a Hooters Pro Cup race. I mean, Joe Logano won in everything he's ever been in. He come down here in that car, which Stanley Smith had finished no better than, I think, 5th in that car, and run all over the back of him with a car towed out 1/4 of an inch. That's big on a late model.
Right.
Then, I mean, if Hamner would have made a mistake, it'd have been all over with, you know. And we know he's a Cup champion and a winner, so that was pretty cool. You're right about that one. I mean, he's got a ton of talent. I'd love to see guys like him come back like the old days when the Cup drivers, when they were not racing, to show up and run a late model, you know, back when they want to make extra money, but now they don't need to. They make millions, but that was always super cool to see the Bobby Allisons and the Davey Allisons and the guys that, you know, are making good money racing Cup cars, but would come down and run short track for fun.
Yeah. Yeah, well, those guys that go down never forget where their roots are. You know,
Kyle Busch is one of them.
Kyle Busch is one of them. You love him or hate him, whatever, but he
supports.
He supports short track racing. He knows it's where he came from with Kurt in Las Vegas, and they ran the Legends cars and
modifieds.
Late
models.
When he gets his opportunity, he will put a super together, and he's got an eye for talent too.
He said in the past that he would love to be doing what Bubba Pollard's doing right now.
Yeah, he said Bubba Pollard's living his dream, is what he said. He said, Bubba Pollard's living my dream, running all over the country, running a super late model. Yeah, I agree, but I just miss the big guys coming down, not just signing autographs, but you know, getting behind the wheel and battling it out with the local short track guys, and that always made it a good show. You know,
Sterling Marlin is another one I think.
Oh we've had Harry Gant, Kyle Petty. Had a bunch of them down here at one time. I mean, when I was a kid, you'd walk through the pits at Snowball Derby, and there was the Allisons and the Senecers and the Dick Trickles and the, Gary St. Amonts. These guys that you read on magazines, never got to see them race, but they would come down here.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look how many Cup drivers competed in the Snowball Derby. David Pearson competed in Snowball Derby at one time. Darrell Waltrip won it.
Well, we're going to move on up from Nashville. We're going to get in the car, and we're going to travel north up to Connecticut. And one of Thompson Speedway. We've got a friend up there, Dan Butler.
Dan.
Yeah, he's up there and been up there for quite a while. Dan, hello.
Hope you're doing well.
He's he's building a street stock.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's been building it for a while, but COVID hit. Me and him I love him to death, but he freaked out over this COVID thing, and I tried talking to him, and he freaked out and blocked me on Facebook, but He comments on my stuff every once in a while. I love Dan to death. He knows I don't mean that, but he was building a street stock. His buddy, Gary Spinato, they have a rental business up there. They rent street stocks. They have 3 or 4 cars that they rent out, and they took his car to their shop. Last I heard, they were putting a motor and a transmission in it. So maybe Dan will be racing here this year sometime, maybe next year.
Yeah, that'd be awesome to see that. Thompson 300. At Thompson Speedway, and I'm sure Dan was probably there if he was able to, but Thompson Motorsports Park, and we had Keith Bracco, And, he just put on a show with the Ron Silks and Justin Bonsignor and Patrick Emmerling and Doug Kobe with the SRX series winning at Stafford in the first race, and that was a huge field there with those modifieds. And we've talked about those open wheel modifieds before, and it's like the Pro Stock and NHRA. It's one of my favorite classes. And, the 15-inch tires and the low to the ground and just nothing. What did you say?
800 horsepower.
The ground pounders.
Ground pounders.
Exactly.
That's what they called them. And they sit so low. I mean, you're on the ground.
Those are
and Thompson,
on steroids.
Yeah, Thompson's only like a half mile, like Martinsville, and
not very high banked either.
No,
almost flat.
Yeah, it is. It is very flat in the corners, and
it's one of those tracks where you use the chrome horn a lot.
Yeah, a longer Bowman Gray.
Yeah, right. You basically run off in there and go, man, I might have to just give him a wiggle. Doop doop doop.
Well, congratulations to Keith Rocco and all those guys up there, and
good job.
We're going to keep up with you guys. We love the modifieds, and we've got the modifieds down here too, the modifieds of Mayhem, but it's a little bit different modified than what we're talking the ground pound. They're still ground pounders, but I mean, not. They're in the pedophilia of the ground pounders that we're talking about, the modifieds. But they're
still high horsepower. But they own 8-inch tires, so they can't go anywhere. That's one of the big equalizers. But I would love to see an economy modified class. With a 602 crate, with a 4-barrel, triple disc clutch, with a stock type transmission, and on a G60 tire, you'd have 50 of them because there's modified chassis, asphalt ones, just sitting in garages because. You got to spend 25 or 30 grand on a motor to run up front and modifieds of Mayhem. A lot of people don't have that money. I'd love to see a class like that, an economy modified, to let people like me who could probably afford to run in it build a car and have some fun.
Yeah, and from Connecticut, we can scoot on over to Brighton, Michigan. With the Jeg CRA Super Series, with the Algeier Performance Parts Fall Brawl 100 at Lucas Oil Raceway in Brighton, Michigan. And there's a late model driver that we have talked about before. His name's Kyle Crump. Mm-hmm. Continued his dominating ways, leading all 100 laps. And sat in victory lane with the Golden Gloves.
That's a butt kicking.
Well, this guy, Kyle Crump, he won the Red Bud 400 in July, the Battle of Berlin 150 in August, and he's one of 4 drivers now that are racing for that CRA championship this Sunday at the 50th Lucas Oil Winchester 400 at Winchester Speedway.
Winchester 400, that's a bucket lister.
Yep.
Yes. Absolutely.
Super high banks, super fast. You screw up there, boy, you're going to tear up some equipment.
Yeah, along with others.
Yeah, you're going to take half the field with you when you wreck in that race.
Yeah.
That's a good show. I mean, you go back in the day to guys like Mike Eddy and Mark Martin when they used to race at that place. And I'm going to tell you, you read some of the stories of the shows they put on. I mean, door to door banging fenders and just getting it on. And they still do it to this day. And I'm hoping it didn't. Who's all there at that one? Do you know, Ted?
No, I don't have any idea at this point.
Oh, I know there's a lot of some of the guys going to run the Snowball Derby that are there too. It's going to be a heck of a show.
Yeah, and speaking of big shows, we got one coming up October 23rd, which is a Saturday night, and it is the Halloween. Ooh, super late model 150 at the Dells Raceway Park, and there's going to be some Midwest guys up there. I guarantee you, with the Bickles, Majeskis, DeAngelis, Casey Johnson, all these guys. 602 late models Midwest Truck Series coming their way. Just get a kind of a reminder. The Halloween 150 super late model event Saturday, October 23rd at the Dells Raceway Park. I'm
going to say go Rich Bickle.
I would too, for sure.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing anybody else win it, but I'd just love to see him win another one. I got so much admiration for the guy. So
wouldn't that be funny? He comes down here, wins the Derby, and does the little mic drop.
That would be awesome.
Victory lane, and just says and walks off.
Yep, I'm out.
See ya.
See ya.
Yep, loved every minute of it.
Yep, I've got my 6th snowboarder. Now I'm the only 3, 4, 5, and 6-time winner of the snowball.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
2 hands.
He's like the Richard Petty of the snowball derby. I mean, he's won more than anybody else, and the reason being, in my opinion, real quick, is just the fact that we don't have local late model guys anymore.
No.
We don't have more late model races than we used to have. We used to have regular late models on a Saturday night.
Right.
And guys had chances locally or, from Birmingham, place like that. We don't have that anymore. It's all, big teams coming in with big money. But it makes it a great show. I'm not complaining, not at all. I love the Snowball Derby. It's my favorite race. So
yep.
Let's do it.
It is on top of our list with Short Track Guys podcast.
That's right. We're going to be there.
Yeah, we love short track racing, as you can tell. We try to bring as much to you as we can, and there's a lot of it across this country from week to week, and it's hard to cover all of it, but we try to do the best we can, and we appreciate you listening. And
one other thing, Christian Rose, our boy that we interviewed, had a great run, another top 10 finish in the ARCA race.
yeah, that we would like to congratulate Christian Rose on his 7th place finish, at All-American Speedway at the ARCA Menards West Series in Roseville, California. 2 starts and 2 top 10s.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool. And the 42 Cook Racing Technologies in West Virginia Department of Tourism Toyota.
Yep.
Great job, Christian.
Great job. And the thing about it is, you got to consider that kid started with nothing. Didn't race go-karts, didn't race street stocks, climbs in a late model and does very well. He's an up-and-comer. Keep an eye on him.
Well, the story behind that, with him sneaking in at Daytona and getting introduced to Bruce Cook through Matt Tipt and everything, and then testing at New Smyrna, and then he, just 3, maybe a half second off Matt Tip's time?
Yep.
And there, voila. And so top 10 or top 5 finishes at New Smyrna, and he gets in a ride, and he's got 2 top 10s in the ARCA Menards series.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It is. Against ARCA Menards now is not underfunded teams anymore. There's a lot of big money it's thrown in that series for projection drivers and trying to bring them up, and he's got a lot of talent if somebody will give him a chance to spend a little money on him.
Yeah, I'd like to get back up with him and see what his plans are for the December.
Yeah, we need to try to do that one coming up here the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
I like that.
That would be good.
Yep.
Well, everybody, that wraps up another episode of Short Track Guys Podcast, brought to you by ShortTrackExclusives.com. Ted, Jim, it's always a pleasure to get together with you, talk short track racing, and deliver to our fans, hopefully like we're supposed to be doing, and hopefully everybody out there listening is enjoying it as well.
That's right.
Leave us a good review, please, and drop us a comment. JBP07@hotmail.com is mine. Give me a drop me a line. Tell me how we're doing, or if you know of a driver that might want to get interviewed, that's young and up and coming, we'd love to talk to him.
Yeah, we want to give him mine's Ted_Baber@yahoo.com. I call myself a Yahooligan, like most people are. And let's go, Brandon.
Yeah,
let's go, Brandon. Yeah, Ted, Jim, it's always a pleasure once again, and we look forward to getting back with you next week.
That's it. Let's get it done.
Thanks for listening.